Hey everyone, thanks for coming back to hang out with us again. I'm Marilyn.
And I'm Cynthia.
And Cynthia surprised me today with some homemade banana nut bread. And I love the way you did it.
Oh.
She baked the whole loaf, but only put walnuts on half of the top, so the other half didn't have any nuts at all, and I love that, because sometimes I want nuts, other times I don't.
Because sometimes you do feel like a nut, and sometimes you don't.
Like a mountains and an almond joy.
Well, and I wasn't sure. I know that Steve likes nuts and things.
Yes.
And I just was, and I didn't even remember Braden even liked banana bread, at all.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of like, shoot, I can't remember if Marilyn likes nuts or no nuts, and there's such controversy about nuts.
Yeah, because then
these
raisins,
days.
Some people don't like raisins.
Gosh, yeah.
It's like, I don't mind raisins in like oatmeal cookies, but like, I don't really want them in my raisin, what do you call it, pumpkin bread.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in
or
the pumpkin
I do.
bread.
I like
yes,
raisins.
Yes, and Steve does too.
Yeah.
So I could see how you would get confused.
You're
But
we're all so picky about things, and we kind of are both kind of picky eaters. So, so I thought, well, what I could do is just put the the walnuts on half of it, and then I thought, well, that's kind of cool because then when you're baking it, the walnuts toast.
Oh, yeah.
So you get the toasted almonds.
Yeah, it did have that toasty flavor.
I still keep saying almonds. Walnuts on top. Yeah. So anyway, and I don't know if a lot of you like to bake, or I do love to bake. I'm a baker. And one good little tip about bananas for your banana bread is, and I learned this from somebody at work, I can't remember who it was, but she told me that when you have your bananas and they're starting to turn brown and you don't want to throw them away, so you think, oh, let's save them. You don't even have to peel them and like stick them in a Ziploc or anything. You literally put the entire banana, brown, peeled, everything, the whole banana, just stick it in your freezer door. So I literally just stick bananas in my freezer door until I have like 4. Because this recipe I uses 4 bananas. Oh. And a lot of bananas bread doesn't. It only uses 2.
Oh, I see.
So I think that's why this recipe is quite banana-y, because it uses 4 bananas.
And does it only make 1 loaf?
And 1 loaf.
Oh.
Yes.
I might want your recipe, because I did notice that your banana bread tasted way more banana-y
than it did?
My banana bread.
Oh.
And yours called for 4. Like you said, my recipe calls for 2.
Okay.
But you just said something. Like, the funny thing is that sometimes if I only have 1 extra ripe banana, I kind of throw it away. The only time I save the ripe bananas when they're too ripe to eat is when I have 3 or 4.
Oh.
So what you're saying is that every time you have a onesie, twosie, you put them in the freezer, and then when you have 4,
like right now I have 1.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I had never really thought to do that. Honestly, I thought if I have 4 bad ones, or I have enough to make a batch or a double
whole batch. Right.
Yeah.
Which,
interesting.
If you had 4, then you don't have to freeze them, because then they're ready to go, right?
Yes.
But every time you might buy, I don't know about everybody else, but I will buy 3 to 4 bananas. My husband doesn't like bananas, so I'm the only one that eats them.
Right.
But I only like to eat them when they're a little green on top.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't like it
The mushy,
even though I know they're sweeter.
Yes.
But, it's just not my thing. So, anyway, I might buy 3 bananas. I eat 2 of them.
Right.
Then I got 1 left that sits there, and it got all the brown dots on it.
Yeah.
Throw that one in the freezer.
Interesting.
Yeah, so then when I get about 4, I mean, of course, there have been times I've got like 6 or 8 of them in there, and they're taking over my freezer. But I'll get 4, and I'll kind of say, oh, time to make banana bread. So what you do, though, is you just take out those frozen bananas, peel and all, and you just set them in a bowl to thaw.
Okay.
And so then when they're all thawed out and you're getting ready to make it, you take them out, and then you open them up, and they literally come out like slime.
Oh.
So they're not super attractive.
Yes.
Because they're kind of brownish.
And they've kind of gotten a little
watery,
juicy.
But I think that's why my bread is moist.
So do you keep all that juice?
I keep all the juice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, since we're talking about bananas, Steve turned me on to an Instagram hack, and we've been doing it for about 2 months, and I've told a couple of people, and they've tried it, and it works for them too. And you might have seen it, because I know I have a fruit basket on the table, but Steve found out that if you wrap the stems of the banana cluster with tinfoil, it keeps the bananas fresher longer, and it totally works, and you have to try it. I swear by it now. So every time we go to the store or we go to Costco, when we buy bananas, we wrap the end of the stem with tinfoil, and they last literally at least a week longer.
Oh, wow. That's great. Because, if you're like us, we both, I think, kind of like bananas a little bit green at the top. You know, not green, but
not
just
bitter.
a little bit, but not,
I like them firm.
Yes.
And not too sweet.
Not too mushy. Yeah. Mushy, then you want to make banana cake or banana bread. You know, you want to make something with them to cook with. But, so, again, I do love to bake. And I used to do Christmas time was kind of like a cookie extravaganza for me.
Yes.
And not just cookies. I would do cookies. I would make fudge. I would make
candy.
Toffee. Yes, I make toffee. I've made divinity.
And this is part of the story when we met on our serendipity episode.
Yes.
Because I had heard about Cynthia for months before she came back to work from her medical leave. And then she walks in with this platter of heavenly desserts of all kinds. And so she is the queen of making
my gosh,
Christmas platters filled with desserts.
Not so much anymore. Now I make about 3 kinds.
Well, they're still amazing.
I don't even know how I did it back then.
I know, because you worked full time.
Well, yeah, and then I would come home and I'd be, I guess just when you're younger, you just have more energy,
you do.
Right? Because I'd come home from work and literally, do dinner for the boys and make a cookie dough and stick it in the fridge, Yeah. So, anyway, I'll never forget, though, this one time I had a disaster.
Really?
Oh, my gosh. I wanted to cry on this one. But what it was, I had made probably, I would say 10 to 12 dozen of cookies. Because, each one makes about 4 to 5 dozen cookies, right?
Yeah.
So I had them all over, and this is when I lived in Antelope, so my kitchen was much smaller. I didn't have an island and all that I have now.
Oh, right.
So it's literally on the counters.
Yeah.
All spread out, all on there, right? And my sink was giving me trouble. It would not stop dripping. And so you would turn it off and you'd turn the thing down and it would just drip, drip, drip. And it was driving me crazy.
That does.
So anyway, so I've got all these cookies out that are cooling or whatever.
Yeah.
And I got really mad at the faucet and I hit it like this. Like, I'm so sick of this thing dripping. So I went bam.
To stop the drip?
To stop the stupid drip. Because I'm mad at it, right?
Right.
I busted the whole thing. The whole sink shot up with water.
Oh,
all over my cookies.
Oh, no.
And I'm like going, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I ran next door to the guy that lived next door and I said, oh my gosh, my whole kitchen is got like a
fountain.
It's a Yellowstone geyser. Fountain. Yeah, I wish it was a fountain of you, damn it.
I'd have been like, okay, yes.
So he knew where the shutoff was.
Oh, good.
So he now I know where the shutoff is.
Oh my gosh, you need to show me that just in case I ever get mad at my faucet.
Yeah. Anyway, not to mention, I ruined all those cookies.
All those cookies.
Just soaked to soggy.
Oh my gosh.
And I still remember my son David said to me, that's what you get for getting mad at
Oh
the
my
faucet.
gosh. Yeah, count to 10 before you get mad. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I can't even imagine because that's like hours and hours and making the cookie dough balls even and baking them and making sure they were done and all that.
My only saving grace was I would make probably 125 sugar cookies every year. And those weren't part of it. Because if I had all those sugar cookies and frosted and then the water would have hit them, I probably would have just lost it.
Yeah, for sure, because that's so much extra work.
So much work
to decorate them.
Yeah. So anyway, at least it wasn't that.
Oh, thank
So
goodness.
that was kind of like, oh my gosh, thank goodness
yes!
I had not frosted any of those cookies yet.
But still, pouring all of those into the garbage had to be so painful.
It was painful.
And an expense.
And I think I redid them all.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Because I was, at that point in my life, it was like, that's a thing I do.
Yeah.
I mean, everywhere I go, I bring a platter, right?
Of cookies.
And it becomes expected of you.
Oh, yeah. No, that is true. Because if you do something a couple years in a row, it's now a tradition.
Yeah. And it becomes expected. So luckily now I have it really geared down because now my Christmas is, the only thing I'm expected to make is my English toffee.
Yes. Hers is so good.
Only one.
She uses salted, toasted almonds, and that makes such a difference.
It does.
And then it's not too hard, so when you bite into it, you feel like you're going to break a tooth. It's like nice and crumbly.
Crunchy. Yeah,
and
crunchy.
Salty, and the chocolatey sweet. I love it.
So
your story,
that.
your nightmare is reminding me of a time that I was baking cookies, and I was so angry at myself. So let's see, I was baking cookies for the neighborhood cookie spot.
Oh, okay.
Which we've talked about on a podcast.
Yes.
And so the night before, I love candles. We talked about that too because we almost caught our desks on fire at work. But I love to burn candles. And I don't know if some of you know of the party light candles. So it was the massive candles that were, really round. They had 3 wicks on the top. And if you burnt them evenly and didn't have them by a window with a draft or anything, they would melt liquidy all the way down, and then when you were done burning it and you blew the wick out, you could melt the insides, like kind of tuck the edges.
That was kind of like their thing.
Yes, yes.
To say that our candles burn down, they don't burn in.
Yes, they burn all the way flat. And then, they would even show you at the parties, the representatives would say, it's a pancake. You would get it all the way down to, just a pancake.
That's right.
So I had bought this beautiful glass, it was like a pedestal to set it in, and it had this metal ring that the dish set into, and it had 4 metal legs, and it set off my dresser in my bedroom probably about 3 inches or so, and it had gotten down so low that I thought, well, I'm not going to blow it out because it was just some liquid in the bottom of this dish. So I know that we're not supposed to sleep with burning candles, and I actually don't do it anymore, so don't at me about this.
Anymore.
No. But we did go to sleep with candles burning, and the next morning I wake up. Now this party light is almost burnt out. Like I said, I thought I would just let it burn itself out the rest of the way. We go downstairs, we have breakfast, and then I'm like, okay, the cookie swap is tonight at 7. I need to start baking cookies because we have to, bring 6 dozen that we're going to trade and share with everybody. So I start baking cookies and baking batch after batch after batch after batch.
Yeah, because 6 dozen, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And so at one point, some of the dough had gotten in the bottom of the oven, and I think maybe I dropped a dough ball or something, because at one point the smoke alarm goes off. And I'm like, I'm sure it's because of the cookie dough.
Yeah, the cookie dough that's on the bottom
of the oven. Yeah. Yeah. So when I opened up the oven to check it, it was kind of smoldering a little bit. So I just kind of reached in the bottom with tongs and I tried to scrape out the rest of it and toss it. So then Steve's fanning the smoke alarm to make the smoke alarm go off, and it goes off, but then it comes back on. And the funny thing is that I'm not registering anything different other than while I'm making cookies, I had heard this weird pop sound. And I asked Steve, I'm like, did you hear a pop sound? And he's like, no, I'm watching TV. And I'm like, I heard a pop, but I don't know what it was. Yeah. Whatever. Anyways, so I got the cookies in the oven, and I'm like, oh, I should swap out the laundry. So I run upstairs to swap out the laundry while the cookies are in the oven, and I smelled something burning. And I'm like, wait a minute. I start running through the guest bedrooms. I'm looking in the, bathroom upstairs, and I come running into my bedroom to see if there was anything that might be on fire, and my dresser was on fire. Like, literal flames coming off my dresser.
Oh, my gosh.
And that pot that I had heard was the glass pedestal that the candle was sitting in.
Oh,
and
that blew up?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
The flames had gotten so hot from the 3-wick candle that it cracked the glass. And now the fire fell down, and I'm not even joking, like this big of a ring of fire, and I've got brown velvet curtains right by my dresser, because it's by the window, and I think, honestly, if the window would have been open, it probably would have ignited it.
Or something?
Yes, it would have ignited it even more, because I literally walk in, and there's probably like a foot of flames coming off the top of my dresser, and there's like other like little willow figurines that are, you know, on my dresser.
And do you have a smoke alarm up here?
Yes, we did.
And was that one going off?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember, honestly.
She was a little frazzled.
I was a little frazzled, yes. And I kept saying, like, fan the smoke alarm so it goes off.
Oh,
like, it never occurred to me that something was on fire up here.
I don't blame you.
And honestly, like, I never thought about that candle once I went downstairs. Never even came back up until
I just thought it would just burn out, right?
Yeah, it would just burn out like it does when I have a little one in a holder.
The flame just goes out.
Yeah, it would just distinguish itself. No, it didn't. And so, anyways, I am screaming for Steve to come upstairs.
Fire!
Yeah, I'm like, what? The dresser's on fire! Oh my gosh, I was so panicked, but he came up and he like smacked it out with the towel and
good for him. Good for Steve.
That was traumatizing.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
Literally, I was shaking like, and then I thought, if I burnt our house down baking cookies, and so please, everybody, let this be a cautionary tale for you. Do not leave candles burning. And honestly, since that day, I have not left a candle burning when I go to sleep.
We don't. I mean, we've never left candles
And it even
burning.
says on the candle, do not leave unattended.
Yes. And I think so many of the candles now are the flameless. You know, they have, and they look so real. I mean, you don't.
Oh,
you
the
don't
fake
get,
ones.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
okay.
You don't get the scent. I know.
No, not the scent or the ambiance.
But they really look really good. And to me, I do have regular candles, and I do have the fake ones, I guess you call them. They call them flameless candles.
Oh, flameless. Okay, when you said that, I was like, what the heck is a flameless candle? How do you light it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that's what they were called.
You turn it on the bottom.
Yeah, you flick the switch with the tiny little battery.
But they do look so good, and I will say far away.
Yes.
You know, it's not like something you want to have right next to you, because then you see the little thing going back and
wiggling.
forth like that.
But I know what you're talking about. You have them
away.
at Christmas time on your mantle.
We actually have them all year long. We keep the, because we never use our fireplace.
Oh,
and
right.
So what we did is we put a little wooden thing, and I put the flameless candles, and we turn those on every night. And it's just a little ambiance.
It's a little glow.
Yeah, and from far away, it does look like burning candles.
It really does.
Yeah,
because I've been to your house when you have those on, and they really do look real.
Yeah.
For sure.
Anyway, so you got your cookies done.
Yes, the cookies were a hit.
At least your cookies didn't burn.
Yes. Oh my gosh, the dresser was trashed.
That is scary.
It was so scary. Like, I honestly had never been that scared in my whole life, because I do have nightmares of our house burning down. And I think it's because I'm such a sentimental person, and I have so many mementos of different sorts that maybe don't have any monetary value, but the sentimental value is like irreplaceable.
Yes.
So I have fears. And then when all those LA fires were going on, and I was hearing about people's like homes like going up in flames, like whole neighborhoods, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, to me that is like such a huge loss. Like,
that's so devastating for those poor people, because
for sure.
Not only, like you said, your house is your house, but it's the irreplaceable things inside your house that are gone forever. I remember people talking about, fathers that were in wars, and they had their medals, and it's just things like that you cannot ever replace.
And like all the photo albums.
Your photo albums.
Oh, and I've got like Braden's little bunny and kitty stuffed animals that he carried with him. So anyways, I just don't ever leave candles unattended anymore. And yeah,
I know. I've had quite a few, probably a lot of, I think maybe because I bake a lot,
yes.
so I do have a lot of disasters.
Oh, no!
But, and it's amazing to me, because it's like I make the same recipe.
Yeah.
It's not like and I do try some new ones here and there. But it's like I'll try these tried and true recipes that I've done, and then they don't turn out. And I'm always so perplexed over it because I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, you did the exact same thing with the same ingredients, same brands.
Right. And the one time that really kind of makes me laugh about, because we had gone over to our friend's house for dinner, and I was to bring dessert. So everybody always asks me to bring the dessert.
Because you make amazing desserts.
Well, and I like doing that part, right?
Yeah.
And so anyway, so I said, I know everyone, I think their husband and my husband, their favorites are chocolate cream pie. So I'm like, okay, I can totally make that, and, no problem. I know how to do all that. So, anyway, so I made the crust like I always do. I pre-baked, blind baked it and everything. And I make a homemade filling, and I make, real whipped cream, and I do chocolate shavings on top. So anyway, so it looks so pretty, right?
Yes.
So we go over there and we have our dinner and all this. I think we were watching probably football at that time. And so anyway, so then it's dessert time, and I bring the dessert out. And so my friend is cutting it, and she is having this really hard time getting the knife in. And she was going like this, and then she's trying to act like normal.
Yeah, like like she's not struggling.
Yeah, she doesn't want to act that, because then it's like bad on me, right?
And is she having a hard time cutting through the chocolate cream? Okay.
Yeah, the chocolate cream goes right through.
Super soft.
So she's like this, and I can see her struggling, going.
She doesn't want to hurt your feelings.
Yeah. So then I'm kind of looking at her, and I'm like, is the crust really hard? And she's like, oh, no, it's fine.
Oh, it's great.
It's fine. So she gets the one, and then she's on the second part, and then she's like, yeah. Trying to get the second part. And I'm like, what the heck? I go, let me see the knife, because now I got to check this out.
Yeah, you're like, is your knife dull?
Yeah, like, what's up with your knife? Is that a butter knife?
Nothing is wrong with my pie crust.
So I take the knife, and it's like, oh my, it is like hard as a freaking rock.
Serious?
And I have no idea what I did.
And you made it the same, as you do every time.
Yes, I do every time.
And do you think maybe you left out an ingredient, like the butter? Or
Oh, no.
No, it's like clockwork.
It's, you overwork it. If you overwork a pie crust, it gets tough, but damn, this was tough.
Wow, obviously I've never made a homemade pie crust.
Oh my God, but this was kind of hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
And I think what cracked me up so much was because she was trying so hard to be, because she's like one of the sweetest people in the whole wide world.
Oh my gosh. She didn't want to hurt your feelings.
No, she didn't want to hurt my feelings in here. She was trying to cut it. So we were just like, cutting it all. Everybody ate it.
Really? The crust too? That's so funny. I think I would have too.
Because it was kind of like a crunchy, like a hard cookie crust.
But that's what's good about the crust, is that it kind of like balances the sweet. So I think I would have still ate it too. I mean, unless you're going to break a tooth on it or something.
No, it wasn't that bad, but it was pretty bad. And I probably made, I think what I'm kind of famous for is my apple pie.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody wants me to make apple pie. And so I have made apple pie a million times, right?
Yeah.
Same thing, same crust recipe, same everything. And the last time I made one, I had made it, and we were going to my in-laws, and that's why I had made it. No. It was my husband's birthday. That's what it was. And he loves my apple pie. So I'd made the apple pie, and we were going over to my in-laws. Well, it ended up his dad had to go to the hospital that evening. So what I thought I would do is, since we had to cancel the birthday party and dinner and stuff, I thought, well, I'll cut everybody a piece of pie, and I'll put it in containers and take it to the hospital.
Oh, that's cute.
So that, his brother and his sister-in-law, everybody could have something kind of joyful, right?
Yeah,
because we're in the hospital.
lighten the mood.
Yeah. So anyway, so I brought everybody a piece, and they were all like, oh, Cynthia, thank you so much, and we're going to take it home, and we're going to eat it and all this stuff. And I said, I thought that the pie crust felt a little tough again, right?
When you were cutting through.
When I was cutting the pieces, but not as tough as that chocolate cream pie. No, that was like way tough. So anyway, so I thought, this seemed a little tough. But anyway, I thought, well, it's okay, cut it up, da-da-da. So then I think the following day, John and I had a piece. And when I ate it, I was like, oh, my God. this crust is tough.
No.
Again, I go, it's not as tough, but I go, it's still tough. I just don't know what I'm doing, that I'm switching up on, you're supposed to get better as you do stuff,
exactly.
Right? Not worse.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to go backwards.
No, but maybe you're getting more confident and you think, I'm doing this fine, that's going to turn out great. And then maybe you're like in your thoughts and you're like overworking the dough.
I
mean,
do
you think you overworked it again?
I guess.
I think
don't.
You should set a timer. Maybe you should set a timer when you're working the dough,
well,
and then that way you won't.
A lot has to do with how much water you put in. And sometimes I don't feel like I have enough water, so I put more water in it. And then I have it. It's just dough is not.
Now you've got me freaked out. I don't think I want to ever do a homemade dough pie crust.
Dough is a little tricky.
It is,
and I swear, as many pie doughs as I have made, I feel like I still don't have it down.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I still don't just have this tried and true.
Yeah, where you're
recipe.
like, I got this in the bag.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if you bought the pre-made refrigerated one at like Pillsbury, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody would even know.
Oh,
I don't. Especially.
I know.
Oh, you do.
I don't care for pre-made pie dough.
Is it
it's super thin?
Oh, okay.
And I always do my edges really thick, and I sprinkle that hard sugar on top, so it's almost like a sugar cookie.
Ooh.
At the end.
I gotcha.
So no, I know. Now I would use those for like if I made a pot pie, type of thing.
Yeah.
I would use a pre-made. And they are good. I mean, not to say they're not good. They are good. I just like a homemade one so much better.
Well, yours are so good. I could see why.
They are when
I've never had the hard
when
one.
They're not tough.
Well, and two, I was thinking when you said that it was a little tougher, that maybe the juices of the apples would have absorbed in the crust to make it a little softer, where chocolate cream pie doesn't have like a lot of juice actually.
Nope, that's not it. It's the crust itself.
Oh,
it's definitely the crust.
All that work, and then you feel like the crust, took it down to Franny town.
Yeah, because I am all about the crust. It has to have, anywhere I go and have pie, it's all about the crust.
Yeah, because you do comment on it when we...
I mean, I wish I could figure out Marie Callender's crust, because that's my favorite crust. Their pie crust is so flaky.
Yes.
And it tastes good in it, and I don't know
and there's a
what
lot of
they
it.
do.
Yeah.
I love their crust.
I do. I love their chocolate cream pie.
Now, if I have chocolate cream pie and I'm not super into chocolate cream pie, but I do like it.
Yeah.
It's Marie Callender's.
Totally.
That's my favorite chocolate cream pie.
The one that was here local went out of business.
I know. There's only one left.
Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
There's only one left out in the South area now.
Oh, wow.
So that's
what
a bummer.
I
Yeah.
know.
But I just saw on Instagram last night a place, and I think it's not too far from here, and now I forgot the name. A Piece of Pie?
Oh, I haven't heard of it.
I hadn't heard of it. And the girl was saying she bought 3 of them. She was in her car and she was eating. Oh, it was on TikTok.
Oh.
And she was eating a piece, trying it on
in
TikTok.
the car?
So many people do that. They're in
I
the
know,
car
everybody's eating in their car.
And I always think, what in the heck does their car look like?
Exactly.
It has got to be a disaster, right? Crumbs and stuff everywhere. But anyway, so I thought, that might be a pie place we could check out.
Oh, yeah, we should Google it.
Yeah, we will. We'll have to Google it. So I got to tell you, though, we drove up to Aikida's yesterday.
Oh!
And it's up in Auburn, California. I've passed it going to Reno or Bell Road for maybe a doctor appointment a cajillion times.
Oh, me too. Steve's sister raves about it all the time, and I've never been there.
I have never just stopped. And we finally, it was a beautiful sunshiny day yesterday.
Yes.
And my husband said, hey, what about if we go up to Aikida's? We both have never stopped there. So I go, yeah, that sounds great. So we took a drive up there.
Oh, yeah.
The best hamburger.
Oh, serious?
Oh, my God. Love their hamburger.
And she's a hamburger
connoisseur.
Yes, she is definitely a hamburger
Love
connoisseur.
a hamburger. They gave me the best hamburger and it's all about the bun, okay? So it's all
the
about
bread.
the bun. Yeah. Mm-hmm. This squishy brioche bun.
Ooh.
So good. And then, I'm not lying, they gave me the most French fries I have ever seen anybody with.
Really?
They put them in brown bags.
Oh.
And it was just like stuffed.
And what kind of French fries? Because I'm kind of picky about my French fries. Is it more like a steak fry? Is it more like a skinny, like a McDonald's? It was in between. Okay.
So in between a McDonald's and a steak fry. Because they looked like real potatoes because they did have some of the skin on them.
Oh.
So similar to an In-N-Out, but better because they were crispier than In-N-Out.
Yes.
But they were crispy. So anyway, this place had all these pies.
We need to go.
Oh my gosh. So yeah.
We've driven by it a million times, like I said, and we've never been.
I know.
Well, what we could do is we could share a burger.
And
then we could get a couple pieces
of pie. Or share a piece of pie, too. Yeah,
a couple different ones.
Yeah. Because they have the hand pie, and that's what I bought. Ooh. And it was big. It was about that big. And you could tell it was all this homemade crust. And it was Marionberry.
Ooh.
So I cut it in
half.
And sour. Ooh, I cut it in half, so I put half in the fridge. And then last night I heated it up in the microwave, and I ate it. I ate 3 scoops of ice cream.
Did you really? Wow. You put that away.
It was delicious.
That reminds me of that hand pie that we had gotten at the orchard.
When
we got the chairs.
That one was better.
It was?
I do think that one was better.
Oh, okay.
Because I ate that one without ice cream.
Yeah.
And I could not stop eating
No, I think we talked about that on our podcast.
That was delicious.
Setting up the studio here. Yeah. It's like, I took a bite and I was like, I could not stop eating this hand pie. And I had never had a hand pie before. Was good. Honestly, I didn't even know what a hand pie was until you saw them.
Like those Hostess pies.
Yes. And like you literally hold it in your hand. It totally made sense. I just never heard of it.
Yeah.
So talking about kitchen disasters, this other thing crossed my mind that happened, and like your cookies were ruined, this brought me back a flashback because I was so angry when I ruined something. So we make this thing at Christmas time. We got the recipe from Steve's mom, and her name is Sheila. Hi, Sheila. So we call it Sheila's Crack Crunch because it's addicting, kind of like crack is, but I've never done crack, so I don't know about it, but we just call it Sheila's Crack Crunch. So it's got like 2 different kinds of Chex Mix. It's got pretzels, and it's got walnuts, and it is so good, and it's like Karo syrup and brown sugar, and then you just like, bake it in the oven at a really low temperature, right? So
I love that kind of stuff.
Me too, because it's just like you just keep snacking and snacking. Yeah. And she always makes it so she has it out on Christmas Eve, and we're like trying not to eat it so we don't get full for Christmas Eve dinner. But it's so hard. But Steve and I like to make it, for ourselves too, and then we can like put it in little baggies, and then when we're out running errands or whatever he's working, we could just snack on it. So we usually make a double batch, and so I made a double batch, and you got to keep it in the oven, and you're like checking it every 10 minutes. It's cooking on I think 200.
Right?
Yeah. And you stir it up so that all the edges get cooked, and so like I said, it's like cooking time for one batch is about an hour, but then you're checking it every 15 or 20 minutes and stirring it.
So it's an all afternoon thing.
Yes. Like it takes hours to make this, especially because you want to use baking sheets that are kind of tall on the edges, so that when you're stirring it, it's not falling all into your oven, which is another hassle.
I use those big disposable ones because they have the high sides. And then you throw it away.
That's a good idea. I didn't do that. I ended up, I was at TJ Maxx one day, and they had all these like cookie sheets at Christmas time. And so I found one that looked kind of like an industrial kitchen one. So it was, it
has a little bit
like sides. It came up on the side. It made me think of like a very shallow like cake pan, but it was really big.
They're sheet pans. I use those for all my cookies. That's what I use all the time.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, okay, I love those pans.
I don't use those for cookies, but I did find it for the Crack Crunch, and I loved it. So I'm stirring, and Echo's laying right there. He looks so cute. Little mascot. And so I put them on the island to cool, and I'm popping in the new batch, and now I've got like all these cookie sheets lined up on the island. I was running out of room, and you got to act fast.
Because it gets hard.
Yeah, it hardens really fast. So I'm like, kind of like moving around the kitchen, and Steve is very sweet. He always helps me when we're making it, because sometimes when you're like trying to pour the Karo syrup mixture over the Chex Mix and the nuts and all that, it's like my arm gets so tired. So Steve will jump in the kitchen and help me stir it all up and then get it all out. So I was kind of a little bit frantic in this moment, and I needed more room on the island because I was running out of room to like make the next batch while I've got the other ones, lined up on the island and the cookie sheets. And I used the bowl to kind of like push back this vase that was, so we had gotten this vase from Crate and Barrel, and if you could imagine like a metal wire cage, and then they had like blown a glass vase into it.
Oh, wow.
Because it was really cool the way the glass kind of like protruded in between the wire or the metal. Wow. Yeah, it was like black iron. It was really big.
Pretty.
Yeah, it was so pretty. I loved it. But I gave it a little bit of a push, and maybe it had stuck to the island for some reason a little bit. So instead of sliding, it kind of stuck, and I just shoved the mixing bowl, this big massive mixing bowl, a little harder into the vase to get it to move out of my way. And instead of moving, it tipped and fell, and when the glass that was sticking out of the metal hit the island, it shattered the entire vase. It went all over the crack crunch. It went.
Oh my gosh.
Well, honestly, I didn't know if any of it went into the bowl that I was mixing.
Right.
But I could see the glass just
shattered.
Sprayed and shattered all over the cookie sheets.
Oh my gosh.
And I just sat there like ready to cry.
Oh yeah.
Because it was so much work and so much time, so much stirring, so much monitoring the oven. Because sometimes you'll get distracted and you're like, oh shoot, it's been more than 15 or 20 minutes and I needed to stir it. And here it is, all ruined. And then Steve comes over to try to help, and he's like, well, maybe none of it got in the mixing bowl. Because I was like on top of this mixing bowl, you know, like just using it to push the vase back. But I couldn't take a chance because I didn't know if it shattered.
You would die if somebody was eating it and then they went, and their blood's coming out.
Yes.
And they bit into a piece of glass.
Yes.
You would die.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, that's horrible,
and I kept thinking, too, like, you might not even know you ate a piece of glass.
True. You could
just
swallow it.
Because you're crunching on this stuff so much, and then people got shards of glass in their intestines, and like, oh my gosh. So the only thing I could do.
And then they died.
Yeah, and then they died over my crack crunch. Like, oh my gosh. So,
oh my god.
Yeah, we ended up throwing the whole thing away. And honestly, I was so mad and I was so frustrated and so disappointed. I was like, I can't even do this again tonight.
No, you didn't.
We had to do it another night.
Oh, but you did do it again?
Yeah.
Wow.
We did.
That's
it's
a
like
lot of work.
it was a little easier doing it another night, but like having to do it all over again was maddening.
Because I know, because I do two things that are very similar to that. I do a one, and we call it a Japanese crunch.
Oh.
But it's similar. You know, it's
What's inside of it?
It has, instead of using, because the Chex Mix, because they always want you to buy like 3 different ones.
Yeah.
I use Crispex.
Oh, I love Crispex.
So that way, you just buy one big box of cereal, right? And it's got, corn on one side and like rice on the other or something.
Yeah.
So I just buy Crispex. So it's very similar to that. So it's just Crispex. You do the pretzels, and we do mixed nuts. We don't do walnuts. We do mixed nuts. And then you add osembas, which are little Japanese rice crackers.
Oh, okay.
So you put those in it, so that's a salty also. And then you also sprinkle it with furikake, which is the little bits of seaweed and sesame seeds that you use on rice.
Oh, yeah.
You sprinkle that in there. So, and then you do the Karo syrup, the brown sugar, the butter.
Yeah.
The same thing. It's the same concept.
Oh, interesting.
And you cook it at like 250, and then you stir it for every. And then also when I make homemade caramel corn, that's exactly the same way. You got to do.
I don't know if I've ever had your caramel corn.
You have? Yes, you have. I know you have. I know I've made it.
Serious?
Yes.
I don't remember.
I haven't done it in a while.
Okay.
I'll have to do it because it's yummy.
Yeah.
But you never eat popcorn. You
I don't.
Say it gets in your teeth.
I don't like. Yeah. I don't like stuff stuck in my teeth.
Yeah, so that's probably why you've never had my caramel corn.
Maybe I never tried it. But if you gave me some as a gift, or
you would eat it,
I would have eaten it for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
I wouldn't waste it.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, because sometimes when I feel like something's salty, but I don't want to eat chips or whatever, I'll do microwave popcorn.
Okay.
It's just immediately I have to go upstairs and floss my teeth. Because
okay. Because when we go to the movies, I have to have popcorn and a Coke. I mean, it's not even a movie if I don't have popcorn and a Coke.
Totally.
So I'm always got the popcorn,
yes.
I'm a Coke over here. And Marilyn, I'm always like, do you want some? Do you want? She's like, no, thank you.
No, thank you. Because I'm going to have to sit there.
It gets in my teeth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, go for it. It's more for me.
I hate anything in my teeth.
And I get that because I don't either. But
yeah.
I'll suffer.
Yeah. Some things are worth it. But I don't want to sit there for for 2 hours in the movie and be like trying to pick stuff out of my teeth when I want to watch the movie. Yeah. So, anyways,
well, I guess it maybe just doesn't bug me as much.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, because it is I'm sure it's in my teeth, but it just doesn't bug me as much.
Yeah, it's kind of one of my pet peeves.
Yeah. Totally. So, yeah, that's kind of some of our, cooking stuff.
I'm glad you can feel my pain.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not that I want you to have disasters, but yeah, when you're talking about that spraying in the kitchen, I'm like, oh my God. Mine wasn't a spray of water. It was like a spray of shards of glass.
I did have a similar thing that happened. It didn't ruin my food, but I was cooking on my island. And on my island, I have this, I have like a cake plate, and then I have one of those glass domes, and I change out it's Valentine's Day.
It's so cute how she does that.
Christmas.
And it's all like tucked underneath the dome on the cake plate. It's adorable.
Yeah, so like right now there's Easter grass, with a bunny. And anyway,
cute.
So I was cooking on the island, and so I was kind of doing the same thing. You're pushing because, it's in the middle of your island, right? And you want it to move so you have more room here. So I went like that to push the cake plate, and instead of it moving, probably something stuck or whatever, and my dome went over and and I have slate floors.
Oh my gosh!
And I talk about shattering.
Oh no, and that's even worse too because it's like all over your floor.
But at least it wasn't on food.
Yeah,
I think that would have been worse to be in my crack crunch.
Totally. Yeah, that was.
But
painful.
I know that horrible feeling because I loved that dome, and those things are not cheap.
No.
And I was so upset. And I mean, talk about a sound. Wow.
Oh,
that was just like.
It's like too bad we don't have like a camera in the house to catch
sound
these
effects.
things. Yeah, I mean honestly, saying that out loud makes me think I want to get a camera in the kitchen because then it would catch everything that goes wrong in the family room. It would catch everything, all the mishaps in the kitchen.
Then you could send them all to to America's Funniest Home Videos.
Oh yeah, and then we can.
I think that's what people do.
Serious.
They have to because how do you catch their cat or their dog doing these funny
things?
Yeah,
like grabbing a steak off the island or something.
They gotta have cameras set up, so that they catch them all.
Yeah, because the funny thing is that you are so angry that all these mishaps happen, and then you're just reliving the pain. At least if we could watch it, we might get a good laugh out of it.
Exactly.
And make it not so painful anymore.
Yeah, because all we have are the painful memories.
No, and all the wasted time.
Yes.
Ugh.
But, oh well.
Anyways.
Oh, well, because I remade cookies and you remade crack crunch.
Yeah,
so
and we're good.
Everything was good.
And I got a new dresser.
Yeah. That was good.
I could not keep that. That dresser would have reminded me of my stupidity.
Yeah, didn't you say you had a big old burn spot?
Oh, yeah, like it was literally a burn spot
you're
on
so
the dresser.
Lucky that the whole dresser didn't catch on fire.
I know, the curtains,
and
like
the
I
curtains,
said.
Mostly
it was
the curtains.
terrifying when I realized the curtains were right there and they never caught fire. But I didn't want the memory of the stupidity. So I told Steve, do you have anybody that wants a dresser? And we gave it to one of his friends, and we went back to the furniture store, and we got another one. I didn't never have to think about it again, right?
Because you don't have to see it and cry.
No, because that was a very embarrassing learning lesson.
Oh, man. Well, at least that's what we always say. As long as you learn from your mistakes, right? Then you're good. Now,
and hopefully...
If you were burning candles still at night, then I would say... slap your hand.
Yeah. So all of you guys learn from our mistakes.
Our mistakes.
Yes.
No pushing over your island.
No, just stop what you're doing and pick up what you need to move.
And move it.
Right?
Yes, exactly.
Oh my gosh. Well, this has been fun.
Yeah, it always
I appreciate you sharing your painful stories.
Of course. I have lots.
Oh, yes. We do. Stuff just always seems to happen.
Yes,
right?
I know.
Well, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us again. And please follow us on social media. Like I said before, we're on Instagram and Facebook, and it's Girl Talk and Shenanigans Podcast.
Yep.
And we recently launched on TikTok, which is Girl Talk and Shenanigans without the word podcast. And you can subscribe to our channel, and please hit the like button and the bell so you'll get notified when a new episode hits.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know about that, so definitely hit the little bell, and it'll notify you every time we pop up on a Wednesday morning.
Yeah, every Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. And we hope you guys will come back. And we've had so much fun hanging out with you.
Yep.
And we'll see you guys soon.
Yep, we'll see you next time.
Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.